By now, everybody knows that I bought a domain name. That is on YouTube. Then there was the second video. I installed the software and did some adjustments, and now my website accepts the encrypted connections. This is now the third video. In this one we will improve the server. The programs written in C++ will be able to communicate with visitors and generate HTML documents. We will write a very simple C++ program and use the compiler to make a CGI binary. Then we will make a content management system. This is my terminal running SSH. I am in the HTML folder of my server. The entire path is var www html. This is called the public folder. Here we keep the files that are accessible to the entire world. Now I suggest you to look at my screen and copy these commands exactly as I am doing. This will properly set the group for the public folder and the subfolders. So now we can list, and this is really good because the group is web admins, and even inside index.html has the group changed and test1. Now we will install one library, libcgi cc-dev. libcgi is in some sense an advanced extension of IOStream. Our C++ program will have an easy time receiving the input from web browsers and web forms. We'll also install libpng++. This is a very useful library for drawing pictures that doesn't come standard with C++. We will also run the following command to enable CGI, the module, and we have to restart Apache 2. I got logged out from the server, and I will have to SSH back in, put my password, and now we are going to create our first CGI script. We will create our first program. So we will first shorten this prompt. These are all steps that I do before I start programming. Then we will go to the folder HTML test01. We will use the editor Nano to make our first C++ program. And these are the rules of web programming in C++. Your code can do anything it wants. Evaluate complex formulas, find the winning strategies in chess, calculate the mass of your favorite black hole. But the very first thing it prints on cout, when it decides to print in cout, must be the new line character. The second thing must be doc type HTML, and then it has to print valid HTML code. Our first program is the simplest one. It won't do much more than this. It will just print new character and the simplest HTML file. Now, when we compile this code, we will use the very same rules of compiling as we do for every other C++ program. The binary that is created must have extension CGI. And that binary, whose extension is CGI, can be accessed by web browsers. When we compile, we'll specify that the output is mywebsite.cgi. And now when the browser asks the website is impweek.com, and then it tells, please go to the folder test01 and tell me what does this binary mywebsite.cgi do. And that binary will do that fancy computation, and in the end it will print HTML code, and browser knows how to display this HTML code as a beautiful website. We will now modify our program a little bit so it does some calculation. So we will declare two variables x and y. We will put some numbers into these two integers. We will add these two numbers just to emphasize that this is going to be a C++ that can do addition of numbers. So z will be x plus y. We will now compile and execute this code. The website is now configured to compile C++ source files and to use the obtained binaries to generate advanced HTML documents. We will end this video with an example of a more sophisticated content management system. We will download source files from internet. They were already prepared, but we will compile them in this website. We will adjust source files a little bit, and then we are going to obtain the CGI script, the CGI binary in this case, and that binary will make a very interesting content management system. So we will type the command wget, and we will go to impweek.com to the folder download. So even from your own website you can access this downloads folder on impweek.com and download the archive impweek.tar.gz. Make sure this command wget is executed from the folder test01, and then you can extract the archive, and don't be scared of this error. So the archive is properly extracted, all the files are there. I have even cleaned, without you seeing me, I cleaned the old mywebsite.cgi and that first program. So we are going to change groups of all these files to wadmin. So run this command sudo change group with recursive flag of the folder test01. So then go back to the folder test01 and you can erase this archive. Everything was extracted, we obtained our source files, and this green file c-impweek is actually the file that will perform the compiling. So we can even see we have CSS files, and they all have correct permissions there. They belong to the group wadmins. Let us now open the file setupwsall.txt. So this setup file has a folder web files that is outside of the public path. This is hidden from from the view of website users, and that is where we will keep our database. But for our files to compile and to execute, we need to create this folder, and we need to set up the permissions in such a way that admins have writing privileges. So we have to use sudo to create this folder web files, and we have to use sudo to change the permissions of this folder and to change the group. So at the moment the group is root, but it should be admins. So we change the permission to 775 and the group to admins, and once we list the folders again, the files again, we see that the admins can write to this folder. We will now take a look at the file sii session information.cpp, and there is this variable password impweek++. Please write it down. Only those who are watching this video know about this password. Compiling these source codes, there are too many of them, is a little bit more involved. So instead of me writing and remembering those directives, I have this file cimpweek. This is a file that can be executed by typing its name. This will run a compiler with correct parameters, and it will make index CGI. If you now open your browser, type the name of your domain, then /test01, you will get to the new website. Believe me, it is going to be more impressive in a few moments. For now, I want to show to you that in addition to just making this very simple HTML code, our CGI script did a lot more. In that folder web files, the CGI script created some subfolder where we are going to be keeping the database. So some database will have its content written in these files in the folder main dbs tm and its subfolders. The index CGI file is actually more powerful than what it looks on the first sight. It can add more texts in the database, and then later it can display those texts. Now, first, to add first few texts, we will use the form, and that form is called website edit.html. So we will type website edit.html instead of index CGI, and then we will have a form where we are going to put that password that we remember from before, impweek++, and then index CGI will recognize, oh yeah, so those guys know the password, I will let them add more pages to the website. So we will now add first page, because this form will call index CGI and tell the person who is adding this first page knows the password, so you should let them edit the database. So this first page will now be added to the database. Now when you click on hello, now this first page appears. Now we are going to make one more page on the website. We will call it second page. We will put the very same password and a little bit different text. This is the second page. You click submit and you think nothing happened. However, a new page is added to the database. So if you add things at the end of URL, question mark page equals second page, then you will see what we just made. So now we are going to go back to this web form and we are going to make a third page. And this one will be very tricky. So this third page will be a form itself, so that the edits to the website will be done within the content management system. So we are always going to face the same interface. So we are going to now edit this document website edit.html. We will take the code that is responsible for displaying the form and calling the index.html. We will copy paste that document and send this code to the database. I had to copy in 2 steps because my font is very big and it won't fit on one page. In the future, when we decide to edit the website to add more stuff, we don't have to use that web form. We can access this through the third page. Let's play a little bit more. We add one more text and then we go back to the form that's on the third page and put first page as the name, as the title. What will happen now is the index CGI will overwrite the document in the database. The old document will disappear and this new text will replace it. Now this is the simplest content management system. It doesn't have users, so you do not log in the system. There is only one single password that is hard-coded into one of the source files. But I nevertheless suggest you analyze the source code of this if you're interested. And then a more complicated content management system is also going to be on the website, and you can download those source files. That complex system has majority of the files the same as this simple one. Actually, not majority, about 50% of the source code is the same. And that complicated program takes this source code and then expands, adds more files, adds users and many other databases. We want math formulas on our website, so we first install ImageMagick, then we install npm package, and then use that npm package to install MathJax. the command is sudo npm install mathjax@3. We will now move the JavaScript folders from node modules mathjax es5 to some place inside the HTML folder. That way, your JavaScript files that make math formulas will be accessible to the website. You will then need to edit HTML header.txt. Let's install a few more things while we are in the terminal. We will install Python 3 and the package bs4. Then we will be able to make programs that send emails. Our document page 5 will contain some math formulas. Math formulas have to be put between the signs \open bracket and \close bracket. Once we submit this to the database and once we ask the website to show us this page 05, we will see a real mathematics. This was the beginning of the impweek.com. Please visit the site to see these instructions in written form. You will also be able to download the source codes and learn more on how to make advanced content management systems.